firing a 50 cal
Right.
at that plane. Roughly how big is a 50 caliber round?
Pretty long.
Yeah, and a 30 caliber?
I'd just guess about that.
Yeah. So like most of the infantry were firing rounds like this.
Yeah.
A lot of the armored divisions had rounds like this big.
Yeah, and they were tracers too. You just follow right into the plane as it went over.
They say the tracers work both ways, right?
Yeah. They do. They know where you're at.
So what was your job here in this village? It's the same job you had all over Europe, but...
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing. I have no idea. I was just with the tanks and moving communications equipment, whatever they needed, I'd go get it, or I'd take people, So, but I have no clue what I was doing here. Just probably in a formation, because we tried to stay on roads.
Right.
And but I don't know what the firing mission was here, but this was the last firing position in our records for the Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
January, I think it was January the 14th.
And traveling around with tanks and stuff, what did that smell like?
Well, exhaust, because I was usually between tanks, my position in the convoy, and you just feel the heat, the exhaust in your face. Yeah.
I went to a tank show where tanks drove by, and I was overwhelmed with the smell of diesel fuel.
Well,
I never really smelled, you don't smell that with cars, but you really smell it with that.
Yeah.
And
ours was gasoline. We had Ford V8 engines in those tanks. I mean, the pistons were big as a gallon. But a great engine.
And what
fast
did
tank.
What did you do to stay warm?
Well, I just had to wear a tanker jacket, insulated. Well, in this area, same thing. But we tried to stay inside either a truck or something. We had heaters in those things. But I don't remember being extremely cold, except the night that the sergeant and I were the anti-tank group in a woods that we were sort of trapped in. And we were at the gap, and I was the bazooka holder, and he was the guy back there behind, wiring it up. But we never had to fire it. There wasn't any tanks coming in. I didn't think there could have been anyway, but that was our anti-tank position. That's probably the coldest I was during the Battle of the Bulge, because it was, I think, about 10 below zero.
And lightning fires?
No.
That wasn't allowed, was it?
No. That was about it. Just cold, miserable snow, sleet, rain, depending on when we first come into the Bulge. I guess it must have been about the 19th of December. I know we were on the road to 17th. That time it was just foggy and a little bit of sleet. The next day, I think we got snow. I don't remember now the count. I remember going by Malmondy, where those bodies of the 50, was it 50?
Roughly 50 guys. Well, it was like 48 guys.
You could see them, and it was just beginning to snow enough to start covering the bodies when we went by there. So.
Was Graves Registration already working on them, or they were just bodies out
I
of
saw
snow?
nobody, except we were moving, and somebody pointed out that there's a Malmondy massacre out there. He looked out and it was in a field, sort of an open field.
Yep.
And so that was one of the shocking things to see at the Battle of the Bulge. But we lost a lot of men, a lot of soldiers killed in that Battle of the Bulge. Our outfit didn't have, our casualty rate wasn't too high. I don't know the count, maybe 30, 40 for the battalion. Right. About 600 men. So it wasn't that bad. A lot more than that injured, but there was 5 injured when I was hit with the mortar.
In Germany.
Oh, that was, well, I say we were on them. Yeah, that was. The mission that I started, I didn't make clear with General Rose, was to get to Paderborn. I mean, that was a tank dispersal point for the Germans there. Okay. Paderborn. Well, he didn't make it. He was killed, but we went on in, and the city had been firebombed the day before we got there. and you didn't see any civilians at all. And I've told some of you that a friend of mine and we were at an airport, and we had some time, so we kind of scouted around, and we went in a brewery and went downstairs, and it was a morgue. These bodies looked like they just brought them in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many of them. We didn't count them, but there was, that whole bottom was full of people that had been killed in that. But anyway, we went back and had lunch, and I got hit, and 4 other guys. They hauled us out with 2 half-tracks and an armored car. And
the mortar, after the mortar hit. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know exact mileage. We were about 80 miles ahead of everything behind us on the spearhead.
Right.
And they hauled us back to a temporary kind of a Band-Aid kind of a place, you know.
Right, first aid
And they
station.
picked out some shrapnel and bound it up, and then went back to a field hospital. Had surgery there, then on an airplane to Orley Field, lay there overnight, and then to England, Salisbury Hospital there till mid-May. I've forgotten the date now, and then back to New Jersey, and then the hospital. And well, New Jersey, we didn't stay too long in that hospital. Then went back to one in Springfield. Well, Galesburg, Illinois was a general hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Topeka, Kansas, and I wound up in El Paso, Texas. I was there the longest time.
Big Army hospital there.
I was discharged in December of '47. Started, so that's sort of my Army career. I went in May of '43 and left in December '47.
How painful was the mortar round? Were you knocked unconscious?
No, I wasn't unconscious. It felt like a ball bat hit me on the arm. I got hit on the leg a bit too, but of course we all carried morphine. So I handed mine packed to the first aid guy, and he gave me a shot of morphine and wrapped the thing up. But
so you were outside the tank, huh?
No, I wasn't in the tank. No, we were standing around and had lunch and cleaning our mess kits. Mortar hit. There's always those kind of situations where you're not looking.
Never suspected.
And you know, when they would give guys morphine, they would sometimes take their blood and write an M on their forehead for morphine. But I don't know if you remember that even happening.
No, I don't think it did.
Yeah, so that way the medics would let the doctors know at the next station.
Well, I knew the guy that gave me the shot.
Oh, okay.
He was our medic. Yeah.
So how does it feel being back here? Does it touch any nerve?
No, it's interesting. You know, I wouldn't have pictured anything like I've seen, like Bastogne. We weren't in there, but at the time you saw pictures, you know, and it looked like a small place. And none of this, you know, you can think about it. The structures, you know, are about the same, but no, it was just. We just march order, you know. If you stopped, you'd sleep if you could.
Right.
That was it.